This video will cover smart training techniques based on research from sports science. Welcome. Uh, Today, we will talk about something called as the gap effect. So here is the technical definition of the gap effect. It's kind of long, so bear with me. We'll simplify this shorter. The gap effect in learning refers to the phenomenon where a temporary interruption or break in learning can lead to a better retention and understanding of the material. This can occur when there's a gap of time between initial learning and subsequent review or testing of the material. The theory behind the gap effect is that the brain needs time to process and consolidate new information, and that this process is facilitated by taking a break and allowing the information to sink in. So, why is this important? Learning how your brain works can help you improve your skills more quickly. So, you can get better faster using these techniques. So here's a simpler explanation by Human Lab on how on the gap effect. So here you go.
There are these incredible data on so-called gap effects. So there have been studies now of skills that are physical skills, mental skills, where people will, for instance, try to learn scales on the piano or a math problem or a spatial problem or a physical skill. And then at random, every so often, a buzzer will go off and the person will just be told to do nothing. Sit there, eyes closed or eyes open, and do nothing. Just stop the learning process for about 10 seconds and then return to doing what they're doing. These are these little micro rests. It turns out that during those micro rests, the hippocampus, a brain area, as you know, that's associated with learning and memory, and the neocortex, also associated with learning and memory, undergoes replay of the thing that the individual is trying to learn at 20 times the speed, also in reverse, just as in sleep. And that can lead and has been shown to lead to accelerations in learning. So there are these ways. I wouldn't even think of them as hacks, because the word hack is a little tricky, because when I think of the word hack, it seems like doing something with an object or a tool that wasn't designed for that purpose, right? The nervous system already harbors these mechanisms, and one can access them through these little micro rests. So whether or not you're a child or an adult, every so often when trying to learn something, just pause for 10 seconds or so. Do your best to just clear your mind. Of course, it's very hard to clear the mind, but do your best to clear the mind and then go back to the learning task, as it were. And that has been shown to significantly accelerate the learning process and the retention of newly learned information.
So now that you know about the gap effect, how do you use this? Basically, let's say you're practicing with a coach who's feeding you multi-ball or with a robot. Every once in a while, just take a 10-second break. Maybe you can just pick up the balls or just not think about it. Close your eyes and just breathe, and then get back to your practice. This helps your brain actually make the connection between your learning. And the other thing is, like, if you take a break after learning something new and then come back to it and practice it tomorrow, you will remember it better than just if you learn something and try to practice it on the same day. So all these things tell you that it's just not about the repetition. It is about the quality of those repetitions that matter. So learning about different research on how people learn, and then using those good practices helps actually improve the quality of your practice, and you can get better and faster.